Right. So good afternoon again. Thank you everybody for coming here today, for joining the session. My name is Ha Chi Kian and I will be the trainer for today. And first and foremost, I would like to thank you all for spending the time here at 2:30 for the next 2 hours with me here. And your time spent here, I will do everything I can in my ability today to actually to share with you some of the key concepts of intrapreneurship of the topic today, and for something that I think is so important for the graduates when they go out into the working world, and a little concept, I won't say it's a concept, it's a little practice that you all can actually make yourself and a very empowered employees to your employer in the future. Yeah. Number two, I would like to thank IMU for this opportunity again. This is the workshop number 5, and to Doreen Lim for organizing this and having me here once again. Thank you so much for this opportunity and the opportunity to do this with IMU. So for everybody's information, this session is IMU Essential Skills Workshop. For those who are here for the first time, this is brought to you by IMU Industrial Partnership and Career Development Unit, and we are in collaboration with Caliber Business Solutions, and I'm the principal trainer for the company. All right. The rest know, is it? Maybe I should change it. How many of you here have never heard of this term before? Entrepreneur. Put a 4 there if you haven't. A lot of people haven't, right? Okay, great. So this, I think, is something that I would like you all to pay attention today. Something that can actually help you in your career. How many of you here would like to have a fulfilling career when you graduate next year and the year forward? How many of you would like to have that? Yeah. If you want to have that, you raise your hands here. I believe you all want, right? Everybody wants to have a fulfilling career, a career that they're actually proud of. Yes. So, and how do we actually carry ourselves in our career, in our employment in future, can make a lot of difference, right? So this is where I will share with you today, from my personal experience as an employee before, how I moved my career from starting off at 2025 years ago. Our starting pay was only about 2,000, and moving up 4 times, increase the salary to 4 times within 8 years. Today, if you are starting it much more, you can actually double it 2 times or 3 times if you want, if you do it well. Yeah, and there's a technique for that, and I'd like to share with you. Okay. So let's get started. Yeah. So number 1, everybody say the greatest asset is our employees. Is it true? Have you heard of this before? People say the employees are the greatest asset. Is that right? What do you think? Is it right? Is it true? Would you agree? True enough, employees are the greatest asset. However, not entirely true in the sense that only the right employees, right? Employees who can actually deliver value to the company are the assets, are the greatest asset. Because if you are not delivering value to the company, let's say if a company is hiring you, and then you are not doing the job right, and you're causing more trouble to the company, do you think you are an asset? Definitely not, right? So it's the right employees. Those employees who are actually delivering value is the right asset. Okay. So how many of you here want to make yourself an asset to the company? Would you like to make yourself an asset to the company in the future? And that's where the real money comes in, right? What kind of value are you to the company? So the question I would like to ask right now is this: why are you hired for? Not just what, why are you hired for? Okay, there's these underlying questions that I've been asking myself for a long time when I was an employee. Every company hires somebody for a reason. There's always a job description, but do you think it's just only for the job description, or there's something more? Let me tell you, there's something more. There's always something more, and this something more is very difficult for us to write into the job description or the job scope and everything, because it's not so straightforward. And somebody here say, help the company solve problems, right? Yeah, Alvin Lim, correct? And for the betterment of company, yes. You have to do something right for a company. The company is definitely hiring for a reason. If they have no problems, there's no need to hire. Why are they hiring? So they're hiring you for a reason. But that reason also needs to be able to have a little exchange between you and the company. Hence that whatever they're paying you in terms of salary and bonuses and all the benefits, right? You are able to return in kind in terms from the point of your work and your efforts and your knowledge that you pour into the company to do the job well, right? And hopefully you can actually give more than that. Let's say, good. Okay, now the boss is here with you. Let me ask you this question. Do you think they are in production, right? So do you think production will ever be no problem at all? I say no, impossible. Every day in production we have a lot of problems. We have human, got this, every day we have problems. It's so frustrating. It's never ending problems. You say, yes, that's right. So just consider this. If there's no problem in the production, right? See, if there's no problem in the production, do you think I will need, he's pointing his finger to my boss, do you think I'll need, and you, he was tapping me at the back because he was just right beside me, tapping me at the back. Can you imagine how I was feeling then? Can you actually even imagine? He was just beside me here and was tapping on me and said, he was telling me, if there's no problem in the factory, do I need the factory manager and you here? On that day, right, I can still remember today, until today. On that day, right, it was like Mr. Ho, my GM, just give me one big tight slap on me. I can just feel it. I can feel it in my heart. I can feel it in my face as well. I can just feel it. But the way he put it in such a nice way, it's not like he's scolding me. He's just telling me this analogy. It was like, immediately I said, thank you, Mr. Ho, I got it. That was a life-changing moment for me. It's an aha moment for me on the day, at only year number 2 as an engineer. I realized that I'm hired for a reason. Okay, the company has hired me for a reason. What do you think is the reason? To solve problems, right? If there's no problem, why do you need to hire me? Is it true? For me to actually solve the problems, get things done. So what can I do? Do I have to just wait for the machinery, or is there another way to do it? Or how can I go around way to solve problems? Maybe I can find another alternative, outsource it out, whatever things. There's so many ways I can do, but instead I'm just kind of complaining about, you don't give me the machinery, I cannot do. You know what I'm saying? So as an engineer, as an executive, or even as a manager, right, what is our job? We are hired to do something. We have certain authority to do something. That day was one of the biggest life-changing moment for me, and I realized that I know exactly what I need to do as an engineer, as an employee for a company, to actually get myself the value that I want. Does it make sense to you? Does it make sense? Yeah. With that, on that day, right, I became this thing called intrapreneur. Yeah. And actually it makes so much sense to me. Now I know what I need to be doing. How do I need to make myself to be an asset to the company? It means I need to be the intrapreneur to actually get results, get things done, solve problems, execute, whatever it is, which I want to share with you in a moment. Do you get what I'm saying? Are you getting me? So what is an intrapreneur, really? Okay, let me share with you what this thing's called intrapreneur. Let's look at the definition, right? And this definition is by Wikipedia. Yeah? So an intrapreneur is an employee who behaves like an entrepreneur while working within a large company and organization. Okay, you don't have to be large now, as long as it's within a company and organization, right? If you are an employee, but you behave like an entrepreneur, that means as though that company is like yours. They treat their jobs as if it was their own business. And it's true enough, on that day, right, I realized that, okay, I'm not here just working for the boss. I'm here in business with my boss. They are paying me a salary. In fact, they are paying me every month without fail. My job is to make sure that I deliver the value to them, whatever they want me to do. They are as though they are engaging me for business, right? And I have to do it. So I'm treating my job as though it's my business right now. So how do I maintain my business? How do I get myself a raise next year? Is where I come from, right? So for those who just go a bit deeper, what do you mean by entrepreneur, right? So you know entrepreneur, right? Entrepreneur here and intrapreneur. You saw this, yeah? So what's the difference? Number one, entrepreneur is they are business owners. They are business owners. That means they own the business. They are the boss of the business. They are in control of the business. Yeah, this is an entrepreneur. The intrapreneur himself, we are employee. Okay, we are an employee in the company. But what we do is that we act like an entrepreneur within the company. That means we take on this business as though it's mine. It's my own. and going to do it. We come up with ideas, we solve the problems. Can you imagine you as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, if the business are not doing very well, there's another problems, whose problems is it going to be? You, right, as a business owner. As a business owner, we're going to do whatever it takes to get things done for our own business because it's our business. But in a company, sometimes we will say that, I'm just an employee. It's not my problem. My boss will do it. No, we have to change the mindset in the sense that we are the entrepreneur within the organization. We call this intrapreneur, right? We are the employee. Yeah. And so there's something that's very, very similar between entrepreneur and entrepreneur, right? And this is where I want to talk about leadership and innovation. Both of us, whether you're an employee or a business owner, whichever you are going to be, you need to have leadership and you need to have innovation, new ideas, changes, making things better. Does it make sense? Are you getting me? If you're getting me, put a 5 there. Put a 5 there. Give me a high five. Let me know that you understand me. You understand exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. Sounds interesting right now? Yeah. So it's something that I think is very, very important if you want to excel in your career. Be an entrepreneur. So what is entrepreneur all about? Let me share with you the 3 traits of an entrepreneur. Okay, 3 important secrets, 3 traits that how you can be an entrepreneur. Are you ready? Yeah, ready? Yeah. So number 1, maybe you want to take notes. Take notes on this. Okay, this is going to help you a lot. Definitely, from my own experience, I guarantee you, it's going to help you a lot. Right. Number 1, you want to be a leader, of course, but not just any leader because there's so many kinds of leader, right? Some who just namesake, right? You want to be one that's responsible, right? And by this responsibility or responsible leader is quite heavy, right? But this is where the value comes in. This is where the asset comes in. Why? Because we're talking about a leader who will leave the company better off than when they first started. Does it make sense? Let's say when you started with the work right now, look at the situation of the company. Okay, you are still working right now. You can also, you are still studying right now. You can still look back in even at your association in the university. Doesn't matter. You can just always relate back. But just imagine that one day you're going to join a company. Whatever situation in the company right now, when you leave the company later on, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years later, if you work long, for example, you want to be able to leave the company much better off than you first came in. Does it make sense? When you first joined them. That means, in other words, you have contributed to the growth of the company and the department you are in, that you are able to leave with proudly that you see that you have make it better. So this is one thing I talk about being a leader. So, and this is exactly what has happened to me. When I saw that, I said, okay, how can I make myself an asset? I want to make sure that when I leave the company 3 years from now, I'll have a plan. 3 years later, when it's time for me to leave, maybe it's time for me to look for another new opportunities, new challenge, right? I want to leave with the pride and saying that I've done something and then I've actually leaving my position for someone else to take over, which is much better off when I come in. Does it make sense? Yeah. Becoming a problem solver, right? You will never be a problem solver if you are not a responsible leader. Does it make sense? Do you agree? You are not willing to be responsible, right? Would you solve problems? You won't. Okay? That's why I say, for me, I find that leadership and problem solving, right, it comes together. It's the same traits, the same characteristics, the same skills that you need to do. So what kind of problem solver you want? They're talking about? We're talking about problem solver who are willing to take on problems, not of their own too. It means if we have a lot of problems already, right, we also want to take on problems that is not part of your things. It doesn't mean that you're going to step on other people's, but we are willing to even take on problems on a bigger level. Okay, for example, we're going to share with this thing is this. Okay, great. So number 3, are you ready for number 3? So number 3 is where number 1 and number 2 comes in, because ultimately you need to be a responsible leader and you need to be the problem solver. For what purpose? To get results. Because if there's no results, it's just all talk, right? You can talk how people should be leading, how people should be doing this, how I should be doing that as a leader, all the should, and how we should be solving problem, or should be doing this thing that way, solving problem this way, this is wrong way, whatever you can talk, it's all talk, right? Yeah. Most important is the results. So as an entrepreneur, we talk about results. I believe that results speaks the loudest. Yeah. Hence, they are very determined to create meaningful results. Not just any results that matter, right? So it's about results, yeah? Results, what kind of results? Results that really, really matters to who? To you? To who? To the right people, like to your boss or to the customer, to the company, that the company wants you to do, right? Not just I want it that way. No, it's about the right results.